crossover issue number 13. We're still doing this, folks. That's right. It's kind of just fallen under the radar a little bit. No one's really talking about it the way they have before, and I get it. 13 issues in, you're going to lose some steam because you got 2 trades out at this point. I do believe you could get a second trade at this point at least. You're going to lose your momentum a little bit. But the book isn't. The book is literally finding really interesting ways to explore itself, and I think, I've never been like the biggest Donny Cates fan in terms of everything he writes. But there is something about this on a metatextual level where it sounds like a guy just working out his shit. And it does come across as either like, oh, he figured it out as he's writing it, or, oh, it's played up for a joke that, he learns in the end the world doesn't revolve around him, a lesson he probably already knew before writing this. I get it. There's some fun stuff to explore in here, and I can't fault the book for that. If you're going to do this, and I said it before, not every writer could do this. If you're going to try to attempt this type of story, you have to be a little satirical in your own identity. Or you have to play yourself up to be the sad clown. You cannot be the hero in any situation. And I like that's what's happening here. We get the narration from Donny. It's like, this is it. We're starting at the end. This is where I die. And I'm kind of okay with that. I'm surrounded by these things I created. I'm accepting my fate. But the thing is, I don't know what happens when I die. Does this story end? Does the book ever end? Probably not, because it takes 2 to tango, essentially, is what's being here. And he's like, this book started off as one thing. It morphed into another thing. I guess I wanted to write a love story, but I don't know how to write a love story. But in the end, this book does become a love story, not just about Ryan or Ellipsis. It becomes a love story about Donny and Megan. And I'm like, okay, dude, I get what you're doing here. That's pretty fun. I can support that. And as he's saying all that, we are kind of seeing just like the history of what this book's supposed to be. He's like, yeah, we had some fun cameos. It was just going to be like a love letter. Then it morphed into like this weird identity. The Powers people are fighting Negan. The Valifax is in here. I held a lightsaber. It's like, this is insane. Everything happening is insane. And as he's kind of saying that, we're seeing that Pendleton he just says, okay, fuck it. I'm getting a power suit and I'm joining the fight. So we see the little bit of what's happening in the fight. People are hurting each other. Things are getting intense. It looks like Ryan's about to die, but basically they're going to use the power of the Valifax to heal him. And as Ryan is being healed by the Valifax, you see the blendingness of what Ryan is supposed to represent. Essentially, maybe I'm leaning into this a little bit differently than what's being interpreted, but Ryan is kind of just like the Donny Cates of the Donny Cates book here. And you see like the blending of the 2 realities coming in. And when, Ryan kind of snaps back out of it, you see like, I think I understand why you created that. That person who was on the ground, like when you were younger, and like the paramedics, like, yeah, that was me. I almost died, but I didn't die. So I got a second chance. And when I got to the hospital, I finally went home and I wrote God Country because I finally knew what I had to say. I had something to live for. And it was all of you. It was these stories. It was these things that matter to me. And I support that, man. I get it. I know Donny is an interesting guy. And that's another thing too. Being open about your struggles is something that not everybody can do with such, I don't want to say gravitas, with such ease. And I think he's doing a good job of it. And immediately after he says that, Negan hits him in the head and the fight kind of ensues again. And basically the idea is, in order to stop Negan, we're going to have to use the Valifax, but we can't get there without hurting Donny. But you just see Ellipsis like, okay, screw it. Donny's willing to accept the fate. And the Valifax goes through Negan and it goes through Donny. And you're just like, oh shit, Donny's probably going to die. But before we can really end anything, Ryan's big church-wielding daddy comes in, and he's got bombs strapped to him. He's like, everyone just hold up a damn minute here. I'm going to blow us all up. But before the daddy can blow everybody up, in comes Pendleton. He's like, okay, that's enough. He's wearing a big mech suit, just distinctive enough where you could pinpoint where it's from, if you follow any of that, but different enough where it doesn't matter. Essentially, you see Pendleton's like, I am so tired of this stuff. None of this matters. This book is going nowhere. None of us are real. None of us are fake. He gives the power peoples an out. He's like, you guys go live your life. I don't care anymore. You've done good. I really just go. Just leave. Don't be a part of this anymore. If you're alive because Bendis is dead, just go. Figure it out for yourselves. I can't do this. And you just see, okay, he's going to go talk to Donny before Donny dies. He's like, dude, I get why you wrote this. I owe you an apology. It turns out you were trying to do something right here. Maybe you're not in control of everything. And there's the lesson that needs to be learned throughout this book. Donny Cates is not in control of everything that is happening here. He is a part of it, though. The writers do have power. Writers do have power. And, I understand you're trying to get your, Megan back. So the fact you couldn't means you don't hold every card. So I get that completely. He's like, I know, dude, I tried. I love it. This is such a Donny Cates line. I would have brought down the stars. No, I would have brought the stars down out of the sky just to see her just one more time. But I can't. I've been trying to tell you I'm not in control of any of this. And basically, this is Donnie's realization. I am not the center of this universe. The world doesn't revolve around me. There's something else going on here. I think I'm finally understanding what's happening, and I'm finally able to admit and see, somebody is in charge here. There's been somebody going around hiring all these people, contracting these people, killing these writers. Somebody was hired to kill Zdarsky. Somebody's killing Snyder and Bendis and everyone. Everyone's dying, and now I'm next on the list. Because, you know why they're targeting the writers? Because we're just part of it. And it's just the writers, isn't it? It's just the writers. It's not the artist or the colorist. It's just writers. And we don't have all the power, but we do have some power. But you know what? Maybe something else is happening here. Our ideas are good, but they're just words. Words are made by writers. Some ideas only become real once somebody draws it. And you see Ellipsis is like, oh shit, no. And that's what Donnie goes, I'm afraid it's going to happen, man. If we're going to have this insane crossover end, if this event's finally going to end, you're going to have to go back to Denver. You're going to have to get in the dome and find people. And you're going to have to kill Jeff Shaw. I cannot remember for the life of me, but I think I called this in the last issue. I was pretty sure the man behind the curtain is either going to be one of the top tier creators in all of comic books, or it's going to be Jeff Shaw. These two guys are clearly friends. So yeah, get quirky weird with it. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. It's so fun. If he is still creating all this, Donnie's dead. The story's done. He just made the words, but now the actual story, the actual event, everything else happening, guess who's making it? Jeff Shaw. I love it. That's some great stuff. Working really well, doing something very cool. I support this 180%. Just a fun idea. I love it. Just showing the humility and the humble nature of a man like Donny Cates. That's really fun to see. I just think it's good. And it is becoming a love letter to comic books. It's also becoming a love story, which I know he said it wasn't, but it is. There's a lot to like in here. Everything is working. The art's great. The writing is great. The colors are sharp. Everything is perfect. Very fun. And it's taking a cool turn. So yeah, let's go kill Jeff Shaw, baby. Let's go do it. Don't say that outside of this book, though. Because that would be weird. But it's cool, man. You're proving to be a guy I respect. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from this. Because I've never been the biggest Donny Cates fan. I know I say that every time. But I respect what he's doing here. He is a guy who had an incident, is now building up his career, and he's saying, I'm going to do what I want and tell the stories I can, even if that means showing the world the kind of person I am. That's pretty impressive. So I respect the hell out of him for doing that. So crossover issue number 13, I am going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.